Good afternoon, everyone from Paris, and good morning and good evening to everyone else. Thank you very much for joining. First of all, I would like to start by congratulating everyone. Happy World Engineering Day for everyone. I would also like to congratulate WFEO for this great hackathon. Congratulations for the finalists for making us to this stage. We would start this meeting by, I would like to introduce Dr. Falim, the acting director of the Division of Science Policy and Basic Science, and he will give the opening remarks on behalf of Ms. Shamila Nir-Bedwell, the Assistant Director General for Natural Science. The floor is yours, Mr. Falim. You are muted. You are muted.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amal. I hope I'm heard well and seen well, right? Okay. Good morning, good evening to all colleagues. Dear esteemed panelists, distinguished online guests, and enthusiastic engineers. On behalf of the Assistant Director General of Natural Sciences at UNESCO, Ms. Shamila Nir-Bedwell, it is my pleasure to address you at this third World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development celebration. This year, our topic is Build Back Wiser, Engineering the Future. We have an exciting panel lined up for you today, and they are going to be discussing this topic. A World Engineering Day serves as a reminder that we need engineers more than ever to meet the urgent needs for clean water and sanitation, resilience to natural disasters, increased food production, and protection of our oceans and land resources. This is why this day is an opportunity to highlight the crucial role of engineering in achieving each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. It shows how equal opportunities for all are essential to ensure the inclusive and gender-balanced profession in that all that can better respond to the shortage of engineers to implement the SDGs. It provides a snapshot of the technical innovations shaping our world, especially emerging technologies such as big data, biotechnology, and artificial intelligence, which are essential to address the pressing challenges facing humanity and the planet. It analyzes the transformation of engineering education and capacity building at the dawn of the fourth industrial revolution that will enable engineers to meet the challenges ahead. It highlights the global effort needed to address specific regional disparities while summarizing engineering trends in different regions of the world. The main problem facing the world today is how to reconcile human development and the preservation of the planet. This is why engineering of today and in the future need to adapt and respond to pressing global challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century saw unprecedented progress in improving the standard of living for millions of people worldwide. Electricity gave billions light after dark. The internet connected continents at lightning speed. Transport evolved from horse and cart to space travel, and vaccines were developed for some of the world's biggest killers, with diseases like smallpox completely eradicated. These developments and thousands of others like them have transformed lives. Together, they have immeasurably changed the social and economic progress of humanity. We have engineers to thank for driving this progress. But we are far from finished, and many more global challenges remain. Over 1.1 billion people still don't have access to electricity, 2.4 billion don't have adequate sanitation, and 663 million people lack access to clean water. Furthermore, about 1/3 of the world's population is not served by all-weather roads. Technology and infrastructure, both improved access to existing solutions and new innovations. They will be key to addressing these problems and enabling growth in trade, access to education and work, as well as increasing the productivity on a local, national, and international scale. But we also need to make sure that the actions we take are sustainable, that humanitarian measures build long-term self-sufficiency in the communities they seek to help, that they meet the needs of the growing global population and minimize the pressure on our planet's resources. These are set to be the biggest engineering challenges for the next century. It's only by applying the best talent that we can meet all of these challenges and continue to improve quality of life and economic prosperity for generations to come. By the end, I wish you all a great meeting and a wonderful World Engineering Day of 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gies, for this inspiring talk. At the outset, I would like to thank you all for joining UNESCO Day to celebrate the third World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development. The theme of the day this year is Build Back Wiser, Engineering the Future. We are very pleased at the incredible number of requests for joining the event from all over the world. This shows how big the issue of engineering and sustainable development with regards to engineering education is globally. I would like to invite you all to share your thoughts via the chat and ask questions to our panelists via the Q&A chat box. Now I would like to start this by starting this roundtable discussion. What can we do to engineer the future toward the sustainable development goals? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start our roundtable today by introducing our very distinguished panelists who are experts in their fields and contribute to engineering education through different tools around the world. We want them to answer the question, what can we do to engineer the future towards the sustainable development goal? What tools are available? Our first panelist today is Dr. Marlene Kanga. Dr. Marlene is the immediate past president of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, WFEO, the peak body for engineering institutions and internationally preparing some 100 engineering institutions and approximately 30 million engineers. She's a chemical engineer. She was the 2013 National President of Engineers Australia. She is a fellow of the Academy of Technology, Science and Engineering in Australia. She is a member of the Order of Australia, a national honor in recognition of her leadership of the engineering profession. Dr. Kanga led the proposal by WFEO that resulted in the declaration by UNESCO of the 4th of March, the founding day of WFEO, as the World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development. She was the author of the first chapter of the second UNESCO Engineering Report, Engineering a More Sustainable World, which recommended the need for more engineers with the right skills for sustainable development. Thank you, Marlene, for that extremely interesting forum, which UNESCO is proud of to be part of. So now the floor is yours, Marlene, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Amal Kazri, for that very kind introduction. I'm really pleased to be here, and I'd like to wish everyone happy World Engineering Day. I'm going to now try and share my screen. Sorry, yes. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes. So I'm going to talk to you about a new initiative that we're really proud to announce today on World Engineering Day, the WFU Academy. And for this, I'll give you a little bit of background. As you said, the World Federation of Engineering Organizations is the peak body for professional engineering institutions. And we have some 100 national members from around the world and 12 regional and continental members, representing some 30 million engineers. And of course, we're an associate of UNESCO, and we co-chair the major science and technology group at the United Nations, and we represent engineering at all the other major UN organizations. A key objective of the Federation is to advance the UN Sustainable Development Goals through engineering. And we have been working with UNESCO, and I'm so proud to say, on many initiatives, but in particular, the successful declaration of World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development by the UNESCO General Conference in November 2019, while I was president of the Federation. And the UNESCO Engineering Report, Engineering for Sustainable Development Goals, aligns with this vision on how engineers can make it happen. And in addition, the report clearly shows that we need to build capacity for more engineers with the right skills, which is the topic of the discussion tonight. Chapter 1, as you mentioned, was authored by me of the second UNESCO Engineering Report. And in that, the recommendation was to increase the number of engineers, but also to ensure the quality of engineers to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And this can be achieved only with good engineering education that meet international benchmarks and that are recognized and form the basis of national engineering education systems to train engineers with the right skills, especially in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And this is precisely what the World Federation is doing with its partners. Our journey began at our 50th anniversary celebrations in Paris in March 2018, when we signed a declaration with UNESCO, the first time WFEO had signed such a public statement with UNESCO. And in that, we committed to advancing the Sustainable Development Goals through engineering. And there were three major parts to this. First, to increase the number and quality of engineering graduates. Secondly, to inform the global standards for engineering education and support the development of national engineering education systems that comply with these standards. And thirdly, to support capacity building for strong institutions for engineering education. Under my leadership, we developed the Engineering 2030 plan, and there are 12 principles, but three major ones. The first was global standards for engineering education to be developed in partnership so that they meet contemporary needs. Second, the development of national engineering education systems that comply with these standards. And third, and most importantly, capacity building for accreditation bodies that accredit engineering education systems and for professional engineering institutions, and to develop professional pathways for engineering. And of course, these advance the three Sustainable Development Goals for education, Goal 4, strong institutions, Goal 16, to be developed in partnership with WFEO members, the International Engineering Alliances, and other signatories, and of course, UNESCO. And this encompasses Goal 17. We have had three projects in the pipeline in the last 2.5 years. Project 1 was to review the global engineering education benchmarks to make them more contemporary and to be able to have engineers that graduate in the future the capacity to incorporate the UN Sustainable Development Goals in their work. And this was completed in June 2021 and was published by the International Engineering Alliance with the support of UNESCO and the Federation in September 2021, and has been translated into 6 official UNESCO languages by another partner of WFEO, the ICEE Category 2 UNESCO Center based at Tsinghua University. and this will be published shortly. Project 2 is capacity building of national engineering education systems. And we have 2 projects in progress and the third about to start. And this includes Mauritius in the southern part of Africa, Kenya in Eastern Africa, and soon Ghana. Africa is very important because currently only South Africa is a signatory to the International Engineering Alliance. And we really need to address the standards of engineering education and also increase the numbers of engineers. Project 3 is the capacity building for engineering education with training at scale using advanced technology. And I'm proud to announce that this is the Wfu Academy. This is a new project that will provide on-demand training for engineering educators, for accreditation bodies and professional engineering institutions, and for engineers who have already graduated and are in practice to continue their professional development. And this is being done in partnership and supported by UNESCO, in partnership with the Global Engineering Deans Council, GEDC, the International Engineering Alliance, and the International Federation of Engineering Education Societies. And I'm so proud that this project also advances the UNESCO recommendations for open science. It uses technology to transfer knowledge and skills where they're needed most in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Courses are available on demand at no cost to individuals who are members of the WFEO members and affiliate institutions. We have bronze, silver, and gold awards to encourage participation. Most importantly, this is an inclusive program. Engineers can access this at any time. It's a sustainable project because it uses existing content of webinars that have been done already by experts. So we're not using more energy. And it's translated into more than 100 languages. And I've shown here some examples: Arabic, Hindi, Swahili, which is spoken widely in Africa, and Spanish, of course, spoken widely in Latin America. So I hope that many engineers will take the opportunity of this training and get a huge benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marlene, for this extremely interesting forum. UNESCO is really proud with your partnership. Thank you very much. Now the second speaker is the Professor Alfonso Falim. Professor Alfonso Falim is a professor of civil engineering at the University of Lagos, Nigeria. He was appointed the professor in 2001. He was head of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering and former dean of Faculty of Engineering at the University of Lagos. In 2002, Professor Falim initiated the African Regional Conference on Engineering Education, which led to the establishment of the African Engineering Education Association. In 2006, in South Africa, he was the founding president and the current president of the association. He was a vice president of International Federation of Engineering Education Societies, and he is a member of the governing board of the International Center for Engineering Education, which is a UNESCO Category 2 center, jointly owned by Tsinghua University and the Chinese Academy of Engineering in China. In 2013, Professor Falim championed the inauguration of the African Engineering Deans Council. Professor Falim, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rina, for the kind introduction. Happy Engineering Days to all of us. The title of my presentation is Engineering Education for Now and Beyond. Engineering education is the process of training engineers who are supposed to be the initiator, facilitator, and implementer of technological development of a nation. The input of engineers are crucial to the realization of sustainable development goals. The state of engineering education in Africa now can be summarized as follows. The training institutions are underfunded. Poor funding manifests in lack of teaching and research equipment, both in quantity and quality. Other facilities that are necessary to provide enabling environment for the knowledge dissemination and acquisitions are also inadequate. The student enrollment increases yearly because of high desire by prospective candidates to study engineering, but the resources required are inadequate to support them. There is consistent movement of highly trained professionals, intellectuals, talents, specialists in engineering from university to other professional callings because of lack of job satisfaction, mainly as a result of poor pay and salary erosion, as well as inadequate facilities for research to actualize their dreams. This movement has not only slowed down progress in engineering education, but also inhibit socio-economic and technological advancement of African nations. There is weak partnership between university and industry. Because of this, there are gaps between what the students are taught in the universities and what the industry requires. This results in high unemployment among the engineering graduates. The current engineering curricula are defective. They are based on foreign model, which has evolved under ideal conditions. And there is inadequate provision for humanities, social sciences, business management concepts, and entrepreneurship skills development. Most of the teachers adopt the traditional method of transferring knowledge to students. This is passive and as opposed to active learning, which puts students at the center of learning. Majority of teachers do not have industrial experience. Many students are inadequately placed during student industrial attachment programs. Women are underrepresented in engineering. The fallout from these inadequacies is that there is lack of engineering capacity in Africa and heavy reliance on imported expertise in engineering. Without proper engineering education, there cannot be production of quality engineering graduates from the training institution, and there cannot be any meaningful development. Beyond now, Africa needs engineering education reform. Namely, the curricula of engineering program need to be redesigned and tailored towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. There is need for teachers to adopt innovative pedagogy method that puts students at the center of learning and ensure that students acquire capability for problem solving, innovative and entrepreneurship skills. The training must equip students with skills for international engagements and capacity to solve local problems. Close collaboration between industry and university should be pursued. Universities should be represented at faculty boards and be allowed to assist to review the curricula in line with the needs of the industry. Government or member states, as a matter of policy, should intentionally and proactively fund education at all levels, in general and in particular engineering education, being the gateway to sustainable development and poverty alleviation. Women should be encouraged to develop interest in engineering. Women, the engineering bodies, including the Africa Engineering Education, should continue to pursue their visions with serious vigor to promote quality engineering education in Africa. And currently, the Africa Engineering Education Association is working in collaboration with the International Federation of Engineering Societies, Global Engineering Days Council, to build capacity in engineering in Africa. With regional and sub-regional accreditation bodies should be established. This will enable universities in the region to benchmark their activities, including curriculum against standards that have been designed and agreed upon at regional level. This may also serve as a tool to force government to fund education with emphasis on engineering education. It will also facilitate mobility of engineering personnel within the region, thus stemming the unemployment among graduates. COVID-19 pandemic has necessitated the urgency to migrate to online engineering education. There is need to build capacity in innovative pedagogical method in this digital era. The recently established African Research University Alliance will promote multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary engagement and fast-track the development of relevant endogenous technology that will be tailored towards achieving the sustainable goals. This alliance currently comprises 16 universities from 10 nations of Africa with a focus to collaborate in research. This should be expanded and strengthened. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Alfonso, for this inspiring talk, and thank you for concentrating on engineering education in Africa. So now our third speaker is Mr. Vincent Kabunga. He's hands-on learning for STEM education and getting our new engineers abroad. So Mr. Kabunga is passionate about digital transformation, and he supports many initiatives to enhance digital inclusion and equity in Africa. He is a knowledge management and organizational development specialist with cross-training in engineering, management, and M&E. Vincent is a telecommunications engineer and a senior member of IEEE. He has worked extensively across Eastern and Southern Africa and in Southeast Asia. He has over 20 years of experience in sustainable development and organizational capacity development. He studied electrical engineering at Macquarie University and pursued postgraduate studies in information technology at the University of Pretoria and strategic business management training at the Strathmore Business School. He sits on many IEEE societies. He has actively led and supported efforts on the ground that have been the formation of new IEEE sections, student branches, local technical chapters, and most recently, the IEEE Africa Council. Thank you, Vincent, for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Amal. And happy World Engineering Day to everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here today. And thank you to the organizers for this opportunity to share with you some insights on the work that UNESCO and IEEE have been doing to support the expansion of engineering capacity in Africa for the future of the region. As Amal has mentioned, I have had the honor of leading IEEE's work in Africa for several years. And as part of that, I've also been on the front lines of our work with UNESCO. IEEE, as you might be aware, is the world's largest professional association advancing technology for the benefit of humanity. We publish journals, sponsor technical conferences, and develop technology standards while supporting the professional interests of our more than 400,000 members across the globe in over 150 countries, actually. IEEE and UNESCO have been working very closely over the last 10 years to build and actually expand the local capacity in STEM education and to support STEM careers in Africa as we prepare for the future of the region. One of the, sorry, just realized my slides aren't moving as fast as I thought they were moving. Okay, here you go. Yeah, so one of the most exciting programs that we've been working with is the REACH program. And REACH is a program of the IEEE History Center. It is supported by IEEE and the IEEE Foundation. REACH stands for Raising Engineering Awareness through the Conduit of History. The program provides open education resources for secondary school educators and It aims to prepare engineering secondary school students to be technologically literate. And we do this through the lens of history. This enables us to prepare the students to not only know what technology is and how it works, but also how it shapes society and how society shapes technology. REACH provides a selection of lesson plans on different subjects. We have primary sources of the materials that we are using that have been developed by IEEE, the History Center, hands-on activities, and a lot of multimedia resources that students are able to engage with. The goal of the program itself is to give the students a new lens with which to view technology that is relevant to their own lives and also look into the future. It's a new pathway to STEM education, enhancing student skills in problem solving, critical thinking, research, communication, and collaboration. It prepares the students to become better informed citizens of our high-tech society that we are building, and helping to improve technology and engineering literacy, while meeting the needs of secondary education teachers in both STEM and the humanities. We utilized the REACH program to implement a co-branded activity for IEEE and UNESCO in Uganda. This was with the assistance of the IEEE Africa Council, the IEEE Uganda section, and 2 local nonprofits. It was a pilot activity intended to introduce REACH to the local audience. And in this activity, the local organizations that we worked with did something quite amazing with the resources. They were able to adapt the materials that we have within REACH to meet national educational requirements of the education curriculum that is used in Uganda. And in addition, once that had been achieved, they then made use of a traveling classroom trailer to reach underserved communities that were really targeting to reach inside this in this pilot activity. And on completion, the activity itself had reached over 70 teachers and impacted over 1,000 students. The pedagogy that we employed in the activity utilized history of science. We were able to spark creativity. We boosted critical thinking, collaboration, teamwork, communication, which are all critical skills for folks that are pursuing engineering careers. The REACH resources allowed for very high levels of contextualization and relevance. And we found this a pretty exciting, and it was reflected in the results that we observed on completion of the pilot. As you can see, the activity was very well received, and results were quite impressive. Following on from the pilot, the Uganda National Commission for UNESCO then took this a step further after observing the value that the program had shown and its potential to actually make some really big, impactful moves on the ground. Went ahead to convene stakeholders on the ground, including our IEEE network, of course, the UNESCO people on the ground, and the Ministry of Education. And this time, the objective was to actually focus on the teachers and get them to appreciate what this could do for the STEM education, now looking at it from a national level, completely different perspective at this point. The teachers were inspired by participating and engaging in the REACH activities, just like students would. And through this activity, they were able to gain a whole new toolkit that they could use in their classrooms, and also developed a new STEM education pathway that they could use as they started to work on a new national curriculum rollout that is currently underway in Uganda. This actually led to an even more elevated interest in the activity. And we are now at the stage where we're looking at the National Ministry of Education having consideration for an expansion, a circular expansion of this program in the country to cover the science, secondary science teachers more comprehensively. What we have seen with this that we demonstrated was that we were able to link abstract concepts to real life situations and engage people in hands-on activities. And this was quite, for us, quite amazing, because we were working with a lot of folks that we typically refer to as underserved, and perhaps they haven't had the kind of exposure that many of us have become accustomed to. But we were able to see them positively respond to this, and we were really excited by where this is going. And we are really excited that everybody has been a part of this journey has really been inspired to take this to a different level. And we are hoping to see this program continuing to expand across Africa through the network of the science and math teachers networks. And I'd like to stop here for now, and we'll be happy to take any questions later. Thank you very much, and back to you, Amal.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you we are all thrilled at UNESCO here. Thrilled to have worked with the IEEE on the REACH project, and we look forward to expanding the project to different countries together. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Ms. Nadia Musaji, and she will talk about integrating our young women in Africa, what is in store. Ms. Nadia Musaji is a serial entrepreneur by passion. She's an engineer by training. She is also a co-founder at WOM Hub, a boutique incubator supporting females all along the STEM value chain from attraction to ownership. She serves as the chief innovator, with her focus being gender lens on entrepreneurship, AI, and cybersecurity. Nadia co-founded WOM Eng, which is a global social enterprise developing women and girls for engineering and tech. She is a venture partner at 535 Ventures, investing in women in tech businesses across Africa. Nadia also co-owns a successful restaurant group and was named top 20 young power women in Africa by Forbes and an Aspen Institute New Voices Fellow 2019. Nadia has worked across 24 countries to revolutionize the face of engineering through diversity, inclusion, innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. She is passionate about equitable technology, fostering prosperity in emerging economies and engineering better societies. We are very proud of you, Nadia, and thank you very much for being here with us today. The floor is yours now, please.
Thank you so much, Amal, and to the team at UNESCO for hosting this. And again, as a very proud engineer, happy World Engineering Day to everybody. For those engineers, those support engineers, and those who'd love to be engineers, it's a day of celebration of who we are, what we can achieve together. Today, I've got the honor and the pleasure to speak a little bit about the work that we're doing at WMEng to support young women and ignite the engineering ecosystem. And so we always see STEM as an opportunity for growth, development, for change, for creating better societies, creating more equality and equity. But that doesn't happen on its own. It happens because we ensure that our engineering industry is diverse, that it's equitable and it's inclusive, to make sure that we have the innovative people who are able to create these very diverse solutions to what we call the wicked problems in the world. And those are the SDGs. And we've always fundamentally maintained that the SDGs are only going to be achieved, and the SDGs are basically engineering problems that need to be solved, and we need diverse engineering teams to solve it. And so what we do at WMEng is really around diversity and inclusion for the engineering and tech industry, but making sure that we work all the way along the pipeline from attraction to ownership. And what we do is really around how is it that we make sure that we're attracting young girls and young women into the engineering and tech industry. We do support not just a bottom-up approach by getting more girls excited about engineering careers, but also a top-down approach by working with some of the largest engineering industries and companies around the world to be able to understand why inclusion and diversity is important, not just for the bottom line, but also to breed and foster innovation. And we do this through a lot of experiential learning and training and rethinking the education models in which we train engineers and future engineers as well. And so, the work that we've been doing over the last 17 years at WMEng just really come to a conclusion that it requires an entire ecosystem to create the change. It's not enough to just get more girls inspired to study engineering. It's not enough to get university students to kind of foster new ideas and get into kind of new technology industries. It's not enough to support women entrepreneurs in the industry to be able to create better role models, but also create better solutions and economic development. We actually need all of it. And we need all of it now. Actually, it would be nice if we did all of this yesterday, but they say the best time to have planted a tree was 100 years ago. The second best time is right now. And so that's what we've been doing, is creating this ecosystem. And we have a number of programs that we run with girls as young as 5 or 6 years old. And why so early in the STEM in the STEM value chain is that work that has been done by leanin.org shows that girls as young as 5 and 6 opt out of STEM, and they've been told and socialized that they're not good enough for maths and science. It's something that only boys do, and if you ask them to draw an engineer, they're typically going to draw man. And so it's really around how do we make sure that we have the positive role models out there speaking to girls around engineering careers. And then when we get into high school, it's really around how is it that we ensure that this younger generation who are very much mobilely connected and can think about the way the world works in very different ways are part of bringing them into the engineering industry. And then we work with university students to be able to make sure that they have the employability, entrepreneurship, and innovation skills to be able to go into industry and be the change that we want to see in a world that is very much technology-led. And then working with industry around how is it that we support women in leadership positions to be able to create that critical mass around diversity and inclusion. And then the last 3 pieces has been something that we've been really passionate about doing. And that's really around ownership. And if you think about the number of women in engineering is around 10%, the number of women owning businesses in the industry is even lower. Right? And so we've been really focused on fostering and building female-led innovation. And the reason being is a lot of the world has never been built or designed with women in mind. And so how is it that we make sure that we have this diversity to be able to create an inclusive world for us all, right? And so it's the whole idea that we actually remove the sexism and racism in engineering infrastructure itself by creating the diversity, equity, inclusion. And so we've been working with entrepreneurs to be able to create businesses within the this industry that ultimately creates more jobs and new opportunities. But if you ask me, Amal, Nadia, what keeps you up late at night? And it's not just around how is it that we bring in talent into the sector, but it's really around how the technological change that has really been exacerbated by COVID-19. And it's really around how is it that we make sure that while our physical worlds may never have been designed with women in mind, our virtual worlds are safer and that we have women in mind when we create these worlds. And that is why we have been working on skills of the future at Womenge. And we've been working specifically around artificial intelligence and cybersecurity in two ways. In one way, we are working around how is it that we can reskill engineering current workforces to be able to leverage artificial intelligence and cybersecurity into our existing infrastructure and technologies. And the second one is really around how is it that we keep people safe online. As such, WMAB and Womenge have built a cybersecurity vulnerability index to be able to assess organizational vulnerability around cybersecurity. And we are training entrepreneurs, we're training engineers, and there's such a massive demand around how is it that we make sure that we build a safer virtual world. And so we've got an online academy that is supporting hundreds of participants to be able to upskill them in real time and give them the core skills to be able to transition themselves from just pure engineering to actually engineering and technology, which is a lot more encompassing. And I think a lot is where the need lies. And really what this conversation this afternoon is about, right? That we need to adapt the way in which we think about engineering more holistically to be able to incorporate new technologies. And so we have worked, while we are proudly South African, proudly African, we have worked around the world, including a commitment that we've made with UNESCO to empower 1 million girls through STEM education. We're at 100,000, and so we've got a little bit of way to go. But for us, it's really around how is it that we are able to not just activate ourselves, but activate 150 global ambassadors from around the world to be able to be part of this mission that is to be able to change the face of engineering and technology for the better. We work with a massive number of participants who are right now working at the coalface and being able to not just revolutionize the face of engineering, but support engineering innovation in a way that is able to make an industry more diverse and more inclusive. And in that way, embrace technology and embrace these skills. More than that, in a world where our economies have been decimated by COVID-19, engineering almost has a responsibility to be able to create more jobs. And it's always a pathway to more jobs and more success and higher incomes for all. And so that is why we're not just working around the attraction piece and the development piece, but the ownership piece as well. And not just in our traditional engineering industry, but also leveraging technology to be able to make it inclusive for all. Because ultimately, it's around achieving the sustainable development goals. And we're not going to go get there. And on the African continent, we have a proverb that says, if you want to go fast, you've got to go alone. If you want to go far, we've got to go together. And so for us to be able to achieve the SDGs, we have to work together collectively to get there further and faster. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nadia, for this wonderful talk. I'm sure this talk will definitely excite our young women to pursue careers in engineering and in STEM. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Mr. Wang Shuaigu. I'm sorry for the pronunciation, who is going to talk about online learning platforms. Mr. Wang Shuaigu is the president of Shuitang, which is an online learning platform founded by Tsinghua University, and the first global partner of the UNESCO Category 2 Center, the International Center of Engineering Education. Prior to joining Shuitang, he was responsible for the research of online education in Tsinghua. His online course was awarded the National MOOC of China with over 80,000 enrollments. In 2015, he founded the Rain Classroom, which is the most active teaching tools for higher education in China. Shuaigu holds a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in computer science and from Tsinghua University. Forgive me, Wang, for the wrong pronunciation, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Dear Ms. Amela Ghazari, distinguished panelists, guests, and friends who are now online with us, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Wang Shuaiguo, president of the Xuetang-X. I was very pleased to be invited to take part in the roundtable for World Engineering Day today, and happy World Engineering Day. And I would like to share the practice of Xuetang-X and UNESCO ICEE in serving global engineering education. Xuetang-X is the first MOOC platform in China, launched by Tsinghua University in 2013 with more than 8 years of development. Xuetang-X now has 4.5 thousand courses and 86 million learners, which has become the second largest MOOC platform in the world. Xuetang-X has offered more than 2,000 engineering courses from top-notch universities around the world, reflecting the latest development of industry and technology. So to today's topic, I would like to say online education can do a lot of help to engineering education. In 2019, Xuetang-X proudly became the first global partner of UNESCO International Center for Engineering Education. The two parties have jointly explored how to serve global engineering education. Since 2016, Xuetang-X has been responsible for the development and operation of online education platform of ICEE, serving global engineering education based on quality online education resources and delivering quality content to developing countries, including those in Southeast Asia and Africa. In order to improve the computer skills of university engineering students and train competent international engineering students, engineering, science, and technology talents, UNESCO ICEE, UNESCO ICAST, and Xuetang-X has jointly launched the micro degree in computer science. Xuetang-X and ICEE has launched an international outreach engineering training program to promote the application of engineering education knowledge service system. At the same time, Xuetang-X has also hosted the International Forum for Online Engineering Education for 3 years, aiming to explore the in-depth integration of online education, smart teaching, and engineering education, promote the sharing of the global quality resources in engineering education, and train more outstanding talents with global competence. What's more, Xuetang-X has also strived to use online education platforms and quality resources to address the teacher shortage in Western China. One example is Nanjing Internet School, a MOOC-based platform built for the career of teachers and the study of students, covering all schools in Nanjing County, Yunnan Province. The platform has empowered 1,800 teachers and directors of education authorities, helped 25,000 students to obtain quality education resources, including 15,000 female teachers and students, and helped primary and middle school students in the county to study the courses of renowned schools and teachers and enjoy fair and quality education. On April 20, 2020, amid COVID-19 global pandemic, the international version of Xuetang-X has officially launched. Xuetang-X has been selected as a UNESCO distance learning solution, providing service for university students and social learners all around the world. During the COVID-19 outbreak, Xuetang-X and ICEE hold a seminar on online education and outlook for universities amid COVID with ICEE and Tsinghua University to share online teaching experience. Xuetang-X continuously explore novel forms of quality resources sharing and supports Tsinghua University in opening hybrid courses and global open courses around the world. In 2021, Tsinghua University's global hybrid classroom offered nearly 50 courses for universities around the world, including big data, traffic analysis, and other engineering courses. More than 400 overseas learners attend courses in real time with Tsinghua students. In the fall semester of 2021, Tsinghua University launched 8 global open courses in Xutangx with over 6.3 million learners all around the world. For years, Xutangx has been committed to establishing a two-way channel for the introduction and output of courses at China and abroad, as well as the global sharing of the quality resources. In 2020, Tsinghua University and 20 universities and institutions on the vast continents jointly launched the Global MOOC and Online Education Alliance for further cooperation. Xutangx is very proud to be a founding member and strives to help universities at China and abroad to carry out curriculum and teaching cooperation and exchanges, and especially on online education of engineering education. Recently, Xutangx has joined hands with 18 Chinese universities to offer 60 top-notch MOOCs to Indonesian university students, covering diverse disciplines, including computer, artificial intelligence, engineering, biology, and medicine. And that's all for today, my presentation. And I'm looking forward to more in-depth discussion later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Wang, for letting us know how we can take engineering education around the world with MOOCs. Thank you very much. Last but not least, we have Mr. Wahid Azizi, who is going to talk about engineering skills. Mr. Wahid Azizi is the engineering skills where they are most needed program manager. This is known as ESMM. He's a program manager with the Royal Academy of Engineering since April 2019. Prior to joining the Royal Society of Royal Academy of Engineering, he has worked as an advisor manager, managing humanitarian, rehabilitation and development project and programs in Afghanistan and Pakistan. He managed the life-saving projects in refugee camps in Peshawar, in addition to managing a national rural roads program in Afghanistan. He holds MBA from Cardiff Metropolitan University in the UK and a Master in Chemical Engineering from Kabul Polytechnic University in Afghanistan. Wahid was awarded a Fulbright Scholarship and attended a one-year Urban and Regional Development Studies Fellowship program at MIT in the USA. In addition, he was awarded 2 years scholarship by UNITAR in Japan and achieved a one-year fellowship program in coaching, management, and leadership. And the second year, Wahid has the honor of coach new UNITAR fellows in their project. Thank you, Wahid, for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Happy World Engineering Day. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me today, and thank you for the introduction. My name is Wahid Azizi, and I'm the program manager for the engineering skills, where they're most needed. Program Engineering X is a collaboration between founded by the Royal Academy of Engineering and the Lloyd Register Foundation that brings global experts together to engineer change. I'm a chemical engineer by training from Kabul Polytechnic University, Afghanistan, with an MBA from Cardiff Metropolitan University in 1 year MIT Fulbright Fellowship Scholarship in Urban and Regional Studies. Prior to joining the Academy, I managed humanitarian rehabilitation and development projects in Afghanistan and Pakistan. These focused on life-saving operations in refugee camps, rehabilitation rehabilitation of war damage, engineering infrastructures, and urban and rural transportation development projects and programs. I know firsthand of the critical importance of engineering skills in managing complex projects and challenging environments, and the need to equip engineers with the skills required for our ever-changing world. Today, I'm going to speaking to you about our work in engineering skills, where they're most needed program, and what we have learned about engineering skills needs now and in the future. What is the challenge? We began the engineering skills program in 2019, which aims to support the delivery of skills in education programs that will lead to the development of much needed domestic engineering skills capacity, enhanced safety standards, and infrastructure that remains safe and fit for purpose. We started our journey wanting to understand which skills were most needed and where. In Engineering X, we always strive to take an evidence-based approach. In 2019, we launched the Global Engineering Capability Review, which shows the breadth and diversity of engineering strengths and weaknesses around the world. And it includes the Engineering Index, which measure the extent to which 99 countries can conduct engineering activities in a safe and innovative way. In addition, we examined specific engineering capability issues through case studies in 6 different countries: India, China, Colombia, Ethiopia, Thailand, and Jordan. What we learned, the report revealed some shocking headlines, statements. We learned that every day around the world, more than 1,000 people die due to an accident at work. Moreover, data from an International Labour Organization showed that fatal occupational accidents are increasing in many developing countries. The report reveals some of the challenges that highlighted in the report. The first one is data gap and data accuracy. Many countries struggle to collect and report accurate data on a variety of indicators that could support safe and innovative engineering. The second challenge highlighted was engineering education quality. Countries often face problems not in producing enough engineers, but producing high quality engineers who are able to conduct the work required of them. What we have done so far. So the studies help us to design our funding activities to address the skills for safety challenges. In 2020, we awarded 1 million in grants to projects across 14 countries in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and South America to support the delivery of skills in education programs. These range from upskilling engineers in Uganda to deal with humanitarian crisis, to embedding safety skills training for construction workers to reduce safety incidents, to the development of Nepal's first fab lab to develop local skills in high-tech manufacturing and design, to creating CPD courses for female engineers in Africa around AI and cybersecurity. And in 2021, we designed and launched the first Safety Champions in Engineering Education Fellowship Program. The program aims to create a network of safety engineers in engineering education to improve the quality of teaching and learning in engineering education. Engineering skills for future. As an engineer experienced in managing multi-sector international engineering projects, I understand that it is challenging for engineering education institutions to offer a comprehensive program that can equip students now with the right knowledge and skills to fulfill their employers' future requirements. This reminds me of the speech of one of my professors, Dr. Elipur, in 1995 at our graduation ceremony. The engineering knowledge and skills you have learned during your education were only to guide you to the path towards engineering. To become a successful engineer, it's your responsibility to continually explore and further your knowledge and skills. To bridge the engineering education skills gap, training providers and professional engineering institutions across all engineering disciplines can play a role to enhance the technical capacity of new graduates to fulfill the employer's requirements. In addition, engineering education institutions should continually update their programs to allow their students develop the skills needed to adopt new and emerging technologies and tackle ever new challenges in an increasingly complex world. To help solve this future skills gap, under our new Impact Grant Scheme, which has just closed for applications, applicants had the opportunity to allocate funding to enhance the skills and employability of new engineering graduates via internships or other ways to engage graduates. On Monday, 7th of March, we are holding a workshop to gain input from our target audiences on the Global Engineering Capability Review to assess the usefulness of the report and help scope a potential follow-up. Please get in touch with me if you would like to join us in the workshop or share any feedback on the report. In conclusion, I encourage all stakeholders and organizations present in this conference today to join Engineering X to address the great skills challenges of our age across the world. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Wahid, for this wonderful talk and
thank you
for this wonderful closure on what is needed from our future engineers. Thank you very much. We came to the part of the questions and answers, and we received some questions from the audience, from Humla and from others as well. We are actually running out of time. So for the sake of time, I'm going to summarize these questions in only one question. And I will kindly ask you, please, the panelists, to answer in less than a minute if possible. So the question is mainly, besides what was mentioned in your presentations, which other countries are currently doing projects such as REACH or hands-on STEM projects? And if you will mention the countries, if you can very briefly in less than a minute also mention how can education help in advancing engineering for the future, for sustainable development. If I can start with Marlene, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Amal, for that very interesting question. I did type an answer there on the work that the World Federation of Engineering organization is doing on teaching climate change education in primary schools, especially in the small island developing states where, which are most affected by climate change. We're working in partnership with the Office of Climate Change Education, which is also a UNESCO Category 2 center based in Paris. And we've run this program in Mauritius, where we've trained more than 100 primary and secondary school teachers and teacher educators and have informed the curriculum for permanent long-term change in the teaching of climate change to school children. So that's a great example of some of the work that we're doing, in addition, of course, to the work that I have already mentioned in terms of work being done in Africa to build capacity for stronger institutions in engineering education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marlene. Alfonso, if you can give your answer, please.
Thank you very much. The collaborative work that we are doing at Africa Engineering Education Association is doing with the International Federation of Engineering Education Society and Global Engineering Days Council centers around capacity building for engineering educators and engineering students. Consistently, we hold conferences, and as an integral part of this conference, we normally have workshop that borders on innovative pedagogy, look at project-based, problem-based, flipped classroom teamwork. And for this coming this year in November, we are having a conference in Cape Town, that is AEA in collaboration with the International Federation of Engineering Education Society and Global Engineering Days Council. And we expect engineering education educators across board both Africa and diaspora, to come and join us to build capacity among our engineering educators. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alfonso. Vincent?
Thank you, Amal. As I mentioned in my talk, we have just concluded a pilot and some follow-on activities in Uganda, but we are now in the early stages of scaling up this activity, and we are actively looking at running this similar activity in Rwanda and in Kenya for the start. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much, Vincent. And now, if I may ask Nadia, please, to give your answer.
Sure. So we work in 34 countries around the world, and some of our programs are virtual. So lots in South Africa, Botswana, Namibia. We're doing stuff in Canada and the UK as well. But for people who are interested in how is it that we get more young women specifically excited about engineering, we've got an ambassador program, which is an open source program. Anybody can apply to become an ambassador. We train you up and give you the content to actually run gender lens focused workshops for girls to get them excited about engineering careers. We've got 130 ambassadors everywhere from Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan to Indonesia. And we also fund some of it ourselves. So we have a small grants program. So if you'd like to do something very much localized grassroots intervention around getting more girls excited about engineering and tech careers, then sign up online at womenge.org.
Thank you very much, Nadia. And now Wang, please, if you want to give your answer.
Yes, just like I mentioned in my presentation, everyone can visit www.xutongx.com to visit the international version of XutongX. You can find different kinds of degree and certificate program like mentioned in engineering education, such as climate change, computer science, and intelligence artificial. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Wahid, please. You are muted.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, we do work across developing countries. Currently, we have projects in 14 countries across the world. But some of the projects that we particularly focus on STEM, it's in Africa. So we have one of our projects called in Senegal, which is also focusing on building STEM science for the school children. And as well as we have another project in Ghana to build the STEMs. We call it STEM for Africa. So it's for targeting 15 years old children to equip young students with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics skills for Africa growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wahid. Thank you to all the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a most inspiring hour on the topic of engineering education for now and in the future. I think that the topic is of Build Back Wiser, Engineering the Future, has given us a whole array of topics to address in engineering, but it starts with how we educate our young engineers now so that they are equipped to go out there and work with their communities, local and global, so that their endeavors contribute to the global good as well as the sustainable development goals. We need to keep in mind that engineers are required in huge numbers to build our future, but they need to also feel the excitement of the profession in their studies. Engineering is fun and engineering is exciting. This will be the only way our future engineers will be encouraged to pursue engineering as a career. A very big thank you to all our esteemed panelists, and we at UNESCO look forward to working closely with you in the future in making engineering better for the future. Thank you very much.